So I recently visited Hong Kong and I found Hong Kong an extremely expensive city. Yes, Hong Kong is a special administrative region of China. However, Hong Kong has its own currency, the Hong Kong dollar, and $1 is around 8 Hong Kong dollars. However, prices are pretty much very high. Let's say if you want to eat in a local restaurant in Hong Kong, you have to expect from 40 Hong Kong dollars. I'm talking about $5 for a meal in an expensive restaurant in Hong Kong. And yes, since Hong Kong is an island nation, however, there's also the mainland and new territories near the border with China. In fact, Hong Kong borders the Shenzhen region of China, Shenzhen city. But I can say Hong Kong is a very special place because it used to be part of the UK until 1997, and from 1997 China has given Hong Kong autonomy for 50 years, and in 2047, yes, China is set to take full control of Hong Kong. However, for people from Hong Kong that want to travel to China and mainland Chinese that want to travel to Hong Kong, both need a visa. In fact, yes, Chinese, they can get visa for 7 days to visit Hong Kong. They want to work in Hong Kong, they need a working permit, they need the company to arrange a working visa for them if they want to live in Hong Kong, because yes, Hong Kong has special autonomy. However, in 2019 there were big protests, and yes, 130,000 people from Hong Kong, residents, also natives from Hong Kong, they left to go to London, Australia and other countries around the world. So Hong Kong is actually a very interesting place. It has this special vibe, it's great for shopping, a lot of food. However, if you want to live in Hong Kong, it's pretty expensive. Yes, an average person from Hong Kong makes $4,700 per month. However, a studio apartment costs from $1,800 per month. So you can imagine almost half of your salary goes just to pay the rent. Of course, you can get more salary. It depends on your skill set. But yes, living in Hong Kong is pretty expensive. If a studio costs from $1,800, then you can imagine how much does it cost to buy your own apartment. Yes, a one-bedroom apartment is from $500,000. I'm talking about $500,000. And this is because Hong Kong is a very small place. Yes, we have the mainland, we have Hong Kong Island, we have the new territories and Kowloon and other parts of Hong Kong. But yes, since Hong Kong is quite mountainous, there are many mountains, you can do hiking around Hong Kong. But yes, there aren't many possibilities for you to build on land in Hong Kong unless you reclaim land. And yes, a lot of land actually has been reclaimed from the sea, and new housing projects are actually on reclaimed land because more land is required to be used for construction. And in fact, the 4 richest families in Hong Kong actually control most of these properties, of this real estate. So Hong Kong is a small place, there isn't much land. Most of the land that is used to make new project, new housing for the 7 million plus residents of Hong Kong is actually used from reclaimed land, and it's hard to build on the mountains around Hong Kong. But yes, in fact, Hong Kong is a very small place, but it is not easy to find land for construction. And yes, some homes have been sold for $240 million, mansions. And yes, there are homes for $19 million on the peak, the highest point in Hong Kong that is accessible by a tram that goes up. So yes, definitely it's a very expensive place to live. And with protests that happened in 2019, then COVID actually the real estate market in Hong Kong crashed by 15%, but now, as I just been there recently, actually prices have started to climb up again. But since there is also a bit of economic slowdown, because Hong Kong is not as rich as Singapore because of different factors, but definitely Hong Kong is quite good. There are many offices. It's a financial capital of the world, and yes, Hong Kong has lots of things that you can do. But talking about real estate, myself, I was staying in a hotel in Kowloon for $160 per night, and the room was nice, but yes, accommodation in Hong Kong is quite small, to be honest with you. Also, Hong Kong has many beautiful sites, but everywhere it's not cheap. Yes, it's cheap to use the metro, it's cheap to use the local bus, but taxis are expensive, and overall living in Hong Kong is expensive. You have to have a good income. And yes, as I was saying about the crisis in real estate in Hong Kong, actually recently there was some tax that you had to pay of 7.5%, and also there was a 7.5% tax for people that didn't have a residence in Hong Kong, and plus there were other taxes that were actually all scrapped. These taxes were introduced in 2010 when there was a bubble in Hong Kong for the real estate, but now with the crisis, actually all these some taxes have been actually removed. Even the taxes for reselling after 1 or 2 years of 10 to 20% have also been scrapped and removed. So the Hong Kong government is actually trying their best to make sure that the real estate market comes back, but it's definitely not easy, because if you want to purchase real estate in Hong Kong, it is 23 times the annual income compared to the US, which is 5 times. So actually buying a home is 23 times more than your yearly income. Then definitely this is very difficult for people to buy real estate in Hong Kong, as prices are quite high. Real estate in Hong Kong is actually higher than in Manhattan. I'm talking about New York City, Singapore. And yes, this is for obvious reasons, because Hong Kong is not a big place for 7 million people. But yes, actually the price for square foot is actually $2,000, which is quite high. And of course, because everything is important from mainland China and other countries, since Hong Kong doesn't have much of its own production, everything is important from elsewhere, other countries. That's why prices for food and basic needs are also higher. And also the Hong Kong government doesn't really give us many incentives as does, for example, the Singaporean government. You have a paycheck in Singapore, 20% of your income actually goes to a special fund that is used for you to have housing, for you to have insurance. So in Hong Kong there's nothing similar to that. That's why it's harder for people from Hong Kong to buy their own apartment. It will take years to pay off if it's an average person. While in Singapore, the government actually does help for housing. So this is a crisis that is actually ongoing in Hong Kong, but definitely Hong Kong is a very interesting place. It is an expensive place, but it's very interesting because there's the British influence, there's the Chinese influence. So it's a kind of international place to be. There are many banks, offices, and it's great for business. But yes, it is moving towards a more Chinese-controlled economy, because in 2047 actually China will take full control, but still it has a lot of freedom that China doesn't have, such as using Google or Facebook, Instagram, X, Telegram, YouTube, and other social media sites that are actually banned in mainland China.